This is WEJF 90.3 FM, Palm Bay. Good afternoon. The time is 12 noon on this Wednesday, and Helping Seniors of Brevard with your host, Kerry Fink, is coming up in just a moment with his special guest. But first, I'm John Harper, president of Helping Seniors of Brevard, and I'd like to invite you to take part in one of our favorite traditions. It's now the 10th annual Helping Seniors Choose Your Adventure car raffle. Well, this year, one lucky winner will be able to choose from seven brand new 2026 vehicles. And whether you love a sporty convertible, a rugged pickup truck, a family SUV, or a stylish sedan, there's something for everyone. The grand drawing will be held on Sunday, October the 25th, during our special Sunday at the Museum celebration at the American Muscle Car Museum in Melbourne. And the best part, you don't have to be present to win, but every raffle ticket also serves as your admission to this fun filled afternoon at one of the nation's most remarkable private automobile collections, normally not open to the public. You've got to see this to believe it. Most importantly, every ticket purchased helps Helping Seniors continue to provide free information, education, advocacy, and our senior information helpline for seniors and their families throughout Brevard County. Tickets are just $25 or 5 for 100. Let me say that again. Tickets are $25 each or 5 for $100. And to purchase your tickets, a couple of ways you can do that. You can call 321 473 7770. That's 321 473 7770. Or visit helpingseniors.carraffle.com. That's helpingseniors.carraffle.com. Thanks for supporting Helping Seniors of Brevard. And as our founder, Joe Steckler, always reminded us, keep it going. Seniors need us. Good luck, and we hope to see you on October the 25th, or better yet, behind the wheel of your favorite brand new car. And again, if you've never been to the American Muscle Car Museum, it's a great opportunity to see a truly amazing collection while supporting Helping Seniors of Brevard. We'd love to have you join us again on Sunday, October the 25th.
Hello, I'm Jennifer Barton, owner of Seniors Helping Seniors. As both a professional in the senior care industry and a family caregiver myself, I understand that caregiving can be one of the most meaningful and one of the most challenging roles that we'll ever take on. Whether you're caring for a parent, spouse, family member, or a close friend, it's easy to become so focused on their needs that you forget to take care of yourself. That's why I'm excited to invite you to the Helping Seniors and AARP Florida Caregivers Conference on Thursday, July 16th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Senior Resource Center of Brevard, located at 1344 South Apollo Boulevard in Melbourne. I'll be serving as moderator as we bring together local experts to share practical information, helpful resources, and real world strategies to support you throughout your caregiving journey. We'll discuss caregiver wellness, planning for the future, navigating challenges, and the many community resources available right here in Brevard County. This conference is free and it's designed specifically for family caregivers. Whether you're new to caregiving or have been doing it for years, you'll leave with valuable information, new connections, and the reassurance that you don't have to do this alone. To register, please call Helping Seniors at 321 473 7770 or visit helpingseniors.org. I hope you'll join us this July 16th. Caregiving truly is a team effort, and sometimes the best thing that we can do is learn from one another and support one another. See you there.
Hey, great to hear that music on this Wednesday afternoon. That means it's time for Helping Seniors of Brevard, the radio show. Let's get things going right now as I introduce the host of Helping Seniors of Brevard, and the executive director as well of the organization. I like to kind of call it a BOGO, and that is none other than Kerry Fink. Good afternoon, Kerry.
Hey, John Harper, thank you. It is always good to be here on the radio, 90.3 FM, WEJF. And for the number of folks that choose to tune in, literally, they could be anywhere in the world because they are streaming at WEJF.net. And then, of course, because we make each radio broadcast available as a podcast as we go along here, every place that you find a good podcast, from Apple iTunes to Amazon Music, to iHeartRadio, Spotify, Good Pods, you name it, YouTube podcasts. We're going to be there because what we've learned in 15 years as a 100% local to Brevard County charity is a lot of times people will hear something we're talking about on the radio, and then they will say, hey, this would be really good for so and so, my friend so and so, to hear, because this is exactly what would help them on their journey. And then a lot of times it's just that you might be out in, you maybe you're in your car, you're listening to the radio, but you have to run into the store and get something and you miss something. You want to come back and review it later. So that's why we have done that for 15 years, is make sure all of our media, whether it be the TV, the radio, the articles we published in Senior Scene magazine and other great locations like Hometown News and things like that, we're always making sure that we are about helping seniors and their families achieve the best success that they can. We call what we do senior navigation, and what we're about is helping families navigate to whatever challenge that they're running into. Try to help them get to the next safe harbor is a good way to put it. And so for 15 years, we've operated a senior information helpline. Free call at 321-473-7770. I'm going to say it again so you get a moment to jot it down. It's a great number to have handy. We're going to talk about some events and things coming up today. So you'll want to have that number handy if you want to RSVP or you just have some more questions. Again, the Senior Information Helpline, 321 473 7770. And today I'm really excited about the topic that we're gonna cover. We have a great friend of helping seniors. Dr. Kevin Kilday and I go back many years. We've been involved in a lot of ministry stuff together, but he in addition to being an expert at addiction recovery, he's been counseling and helping people move through challenges with addiction for decades now. But through that, he's also developed a serious love and care for maximizing our health through holistic. He's operated the Holistic Health Center. He is the dean, president, and founder of Faith College of Natural Health, which is a great college that you can attend and really not only just increase your own personal knowledge of things that will maximize your health and the health of those around you through the things you're going to learn, but quite frankly, you could actually take these courses, graduate with a degree, and perhaps go on and become a holistic doctor of health as well. And so I asked Dr. Kevin, welcome, Dr. Kevin, by the way, how are you today?
I'm doing great. It's great to to see you and John, and I'm doing great. I just had a nice holiday, and spent time with the family, and just life is good.
No, it is. And the thing that I wanted to us to talk about a little bit today, because it's very near and dear to our heart, is I wanted to look at the concept of nutrition and how it plays into holistic health. But my point is, I want people who are listening to really get over to that website for Faith College of Natural Health. We're gonna give the we're going to give the URL, or if you will, the address that you look it up on your computer for Faith College of Natural Health. And then, of course, if you keep our number handy, 321-473-7770, and you have any trouble getting to the site, we'll help you navigate to it, because for one thing, there's a free course there. So you could actually start your journey on holistic health right there on the website, and it's free of charge. And you can kind of see, hey, is this something I'm interested in? And I think you will be. But I really wanted us to kind of talk, if it's okay with you, Dr. Kevin, today, to kind of narrow the conversation a little bit about maximizing nutrition, because I know several people that we're connected to in helping seniors world who are so vitally interested in this. One is one of our great friends. Her name is Jillian Zabris, and she is the owner of Chefs for Seniors, which is a wonderful service here locally in Melbourne. And what they do is they cook nutritious food at your home, and they do it in person, so that you are left with not only a great meal that day, but also they package it in a way that you can stick it in your freezer, and maybe you're going to have now 10 more meals that you can pull out of the freezer whenever you're ready to go. And the key thing, Dr. Kevin Kilday, that I really like is that she will follow doctor's orders. You know, we go to the doctor and the doctor says, oh, you should be on this kind of a diet, or oh, we need you on a low sodium diet. They'll tell you the different things that they want us to do, and we go home with the best of intentions, but then we pull through a drive through and we blow exactly what the doctor was telling us we should do. And so I think what she's doing is so important. Dr. Kevin, I wanted to get you to kind of comment in on the role of nutrition in our overall health about all that.
Well, yes, thank you. Well, I know Jillian. I've met her at a number of events at Helping Seniors, and just a wonderful person. One day I mentioned to her that I was interested in changing my diet to like a low carb, high protein type diet, and and I told her, I said, "Well, do you recommend any books?" And she goes, "Well, I just happen to have some books for you." So she went down to her car and got me like 3 or 4 books and just gave them to me.
Wow.
She's a wonderful person. And she's well educated on on the preparing food, and nutrition. Um, so the importance of nutrition, yes, it is very, very important, for your overall health. It affects your whole body, not only physically, but it can affect you, emotionally, mentally, and but most important is the physical. Uh, the food industry today, again, I'm not going to say anything bad about it, but it's a large, powerful industry, and they really put far too many, additives and chemicals in food. So that's one thing good about Jillian is she really, puts together a lot of natural, healthy stuff. But it's all uh, that's why, when I was doing Holistic Health Center, I always recommended to all my clients that came to visit me is I told them, if you don't take any vitamins, at least take a good, high quality multivitamin. That way, that you are getting, all the nutritional vitamins and minerals on a daily basis, you know. But like I said, I emphasize the word high quality. Forget some of the brands out there. They are not the best. All right, they may be priced right, but you need to look for a close to as close to natural as you can. And like for instance, I like the Alive vitamins. I mean, they're put out by a very large vitamin manufacturer, and they use high quality products in their vitamin, their multivitamin. And I use it myself, and I just found it's reasonably priced. And uh so that's the first thing I always recommend. And of course, um looking at what you eat on a daily basis is also very, very important, um especially in the senior years. to avoid, any, any major ailments like cancer, or even if you have cancer, it'd be a very, very good idea just to eliminate sugar as much as you can in your diet.
You
So,
know,
yeah, I can talk for the whole hour about nutrition. So,
no, I love it, and I think it's so important because, you turn on the news these days, and at least there seems to be a growing focus. People are saying like, "Hey, maybe we could get rid of that food color, or maybe we could get rid of that artificial flavor." And it does seem like there's a little bit of a march or an idea that as Americans we might want to be trying to be a little bit healthier about this. And again, one of the things that I really like, there's another guy, I think you know him as well. His name is Dr. Lee Sheldon. He is a regular with us on the radio. He like John Harper, was helping Joe back in Brevard Alzheimer's days. So they've been connected to helping seniors from the day Joe started it, but actually we're helping Joe in days before that. But Dr. Sheldon is one of those who, while he is a periodontist by profession, he is very much on the same boat with what we're talking about today about nutrition. In fact, his advice is when you go to the grocery store, he says skip the center part. He said everything that you really want to find is around the edges, and what he means by that is that's where you're going to find the fresh produce. You're going to find fresh, basically the fresh stuff is, I guess, what his point is. I wanted to ask you a little bit about, how you counsel with people in terms of just when they go grocery shopping and the choices that they're making there.
well, I mean, that's more of a Jillian expertise, but
Right.
I'll do my best to answer the question. Um, yes, I mean, fresh is the most important. I mean, um, you know, you can try organic, but in my personal opinion, it's not really necessary. As long as you thoroughly wash, fresh produce and fruit, um, in most cases, it's of high quality. All right. So that's one of the first things to do is, of course, fresh is always the best. And, so if you can use fresh produce, have more, salads on a daily basis, um, that is, very, very important. Um, and also, when I was doing, nutritional consulting and helping people with cancer, um, one of the diets that I always recommended was uh, like a high alkaline type of diet. All right, because that's one of uh, the breeding grounds, for cancer. Is the majority of cancer patients have been shown to have low alkaline. Okay. So your alkaline should be between 7 and 7.5. And you can get those strips at the local, pharmacy or drugstore to self-test and with saliva. And it's very important to to monitor that. Like even if you're not on a specific diet, but it's always good to get a book and see what what foods to eat and things like that. And there's plenty of them on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. So that's that's a good place to start. You know, I I personally like the an act the Atkins or paleo or whatever they might call it, just a low carb, high protein type of you know uh you know diet. If you're going to be losing some weight, but it's all about balance. you know I mean, even if you don't have a weight problem, it'd just be good just to look for and there's plenty of them out there. I really couldn't recommend, one in particular. I mean, you can always call Julian. I'm sure she'll have a good list of what she recommends. But there's plenty of books out there, uh, to look into, for healthy eating.
Yeah. One of the things I was going to say about Jillian is every other month, we do a program at the Senior Resource Center. That's the office space that they make available for us. We have a good chunk of the second floor there at 1344 South Apollo Boulevard. We're there on the second floor. The building is officially called the Apollo Professional Tower, but there's a big sign on the side of it. It's just over there by the hospital, the Holmes Regional there in downtown Melbourne area. But it's a big 4-story building just a couple of blocks away, and it says Omni Healthcare on the side of it, and that's where we are. But she does a class every 2 months called Nourish Your Spirit cooking class. And so the next one of these coming up is actually just under a month away. It's on Thursday, August the 13th, and it runs from 11 to 12:30 p.m. It's free. We do need you to RSVP because Chef Jillian needs to know how much stuff to prepare. But I think, Dr. Kevin, you have joined us at one of these classes before. And to me, what's fascinating is a lot of times our answer for not eating better than we should is that, oh, we don't have time, is one answer. Like, I don't have time to prepare something that's healthy. So I'm just going to get something ready to eat or something I can just throw in a microwave or whatever. I know I'm guilty of that a lot. But the second thing that seems to be part of the equation is there's this feeling that if you're going to eat healthy, it's going to be much more expensive than just getting something, that's kind of prepackaged. And the thing that I really appreciate about Chef Jillian when she does this class, Dr. Kevin, is that she busts both of those myths, right? So number one, when she comes and sets up, she's not in a gourmet kitchen, with a super expensive, uh, gourmet, cooking stove with gas burners and all kinds of things, or the fancy refrigerator freezer. She literally comes in, sets up on a 6-foot folding table, takes out a skillet, maybe a blender or something simple, and she will make everything that she is going to have us sample right there in front of us. And then while she's doing it, she'll share how inexpensive these ingredients are. And she goes, look, I found this at Walmart. I found this at this place, and you can get this. And by the time it's said and done, A, it's very inexpensive, and B, it's very healthy. So I think, Dr. Kevin, it kind of busts the myth that you can't let either the I can't do this or the it might be too expensive things get in the way, because I don't think it has to be that way.
Right. And there's also, I mean, I'm a big, uh, proponent of supplements.
Mhm.
Okay. And, it really should be, part of, your daily routine. I mean, not only, do I recommend a high quality, multivitamin, but if you're suffering from things like arthritis or pain and inflammation, and there are specific diets for inflammation also, that are very good. 'Cause a lot of us seniors, I'm starting to feel it myself, a little bit of arthritis and bone pain from, my years of, riding motorcycles, breaking bones, and, and just being young and stupid sometimes. But, uh, it's just, the bones, just hurt a little more, as you get up there in age. And, there are some supplements that can, that can help with that. I'll give you one example too.
Uh-huh.
And also the over the counter card, that we get as part of our Social Security and Medicare and all that. Supplements, you can purchase supplements with that card, you know, and usually you get, I don't know, over $100, on that card. And, of course, there's only a handful of stores that carry the card. I mean, that you're allowed to use the card. It's like Walmart and then Walgreens. I think CVS. Those are the top three I can think of. But I'll give you one example. I'm taking a supplement lately called Sammy. Okay, and and it's good for pain. It's good for inflammation. It's excellent for the liver, which I never knew before until I started reading up more on it. And it's also good for your mental health, your mental well-being. And but it's a little pricey because there's not a whole lot of companies make a quality one. However, like Walmart, that does have one on the shelf made by, I believe, Nature Valley, and it is a high quality supplement. And I think, as far as overall, it's a very good supplement. And like I said, you can use that over the counter card that you get as part of your Social Security program.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
smart. We're talking with Dr. Kevin Kilday. He's the founder, dean, and the head professor with Faith College of Natural Health. And Dr. Kevin, you have a really strong background in holistic health. In fact, for years you ran the Holistic Health Center, and you were helping people with cancer. Cancer addiction protocols, but also I think one of the ones that was very, very popular that we talked about a lot was ways like you've just been talking about. Are there some natural ways to relieve pain? Because so many people are fighting that challenge with inflammation and different things that just aren't working as well as maybe they were, and kind of using that a holistic approach to health, the nutritional aspect, and also there's a lot more to it than just the nutrition. I know you move into the spiritual aspect and making sure that people are removing stress and things like that from their lives. All these things just are pluses and add to the quality of life for our longevity. So, Dr. Kevin, we just got a minute or so before we get to a mid-show break, and we're going to really dive further into this topic. But before we get to the mid-show break, I just wanted to ask you a little bit to give a real quick thumbnail of how people can learn more about the college.
Well, the college is, number one, you can spell it out on your computer and just type in Faith College of Natural Health.com, and that would automatically take you over to the official website, which is F as in Frank, C as in college, N as in natural, H as in Harry or health, and then edu, Edward David Uncle, .com. So that's the really the official website of the college. And we're offering certifications in health coaching, and and nutrition. And we have some some new a new pricing structure, which I guess we can get into that on the
Yeah,
on the second half.
sure.
And plus, we have just gotten a new accreditation, actually two of them, you know, and one is with the World Natural Health the World Natural Health Organization. We are an approved school of that organization, and also the World Council of Post-Secondary and Religious Education. We are
Wow.
fully accredited by them now.
It's impressive. Dr. Kevin Kilday, we're going to continue the conversation on the second half of the Helping Seniors radio show, make sure you stay with us because you're going to be amazed at how affordable taking some of these classes is really going to be. So we'll be right back.
Thank you, Kerry Fink, and we will get back to more of the program in just a moment. And we want to make sure that people are aware of a very important upcoming event that will be taking place tomorrow. And I believe we have a special announcement on that event.
Hello, I'm Jennifer Barton, owner of Seniors Helping Seniors. As both a professional in the senior care industry and a family caregiver myself, I understand that caregiving can be one of the most meaningful and one of the most challenging roles that we'll ever take on. Whether you're caring for a parent, spouse, family member, or a close friend, it's easy to become so focused on their needs that you forget to take care of yourself. That's why I'm excited to invite you to the Helping Seniors and AARP Florida Caregivers Conference on Thursday, July 16th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Senior Resource Center of Brevard, located at 1344 South Apollo Boulevard in Melbourne. I'll be serving as moderator as we bring together local experts to share practical information, helpful resources, and real world strategies to support you throughout your caregiving journey. We'll discuss caregiver wellness, planning for the future, navigating challenges, and the many community resources available right here in Brevard County. This conference is free and it's designed specifically for family caregivers. Whether you're new to caregiving or have been doing it for years, you'll leave with valuable information, new connections, and the reassurance that you don't have to do this alone. To register, please call Helping Seniors at 321 473 7770 or visit helpingseniors.org. I hope you'll join us this July 16th. Caregiving truly is a team effort, and sometimes the best thing that we can do is learn from one another and support one another. See you there.
Good advice, Jennifer. We appreciate that. You're listening to Helping Seniors of Brevard on this Wednesday afternoon. Right now, let's get back to more of the interesting conversation that Kerry Fink, the host of our show, has going. And that is coming up now.
Now, thank you, John Harper. It is always good to be here with Radio Time on Wednesday, lunchtime gathering on 90.3 FM, WEJF. And speaking of lunchtime, we've been having a great conversation with our special guest today, Dr. Kevin Kilday, who is a holistic health practitioner. He is the president and founder and also head professor for the Faith College of Natural Health. And we've been spending a lot of time talking about nutrition as a great component of our aging plan. And Dr. Kevin Kilday, when Joe Steckler, our founder, first began the work of helping seniors 15 years ago, one of his goals was, he said, I built up the Brevard Alzheimer's Foundation. He said, I think it's a great resource. They call them Joe's Clubs to this day, those adult daycare facilities that allow caregivers some respite. But he said, there's a lot of work that we have to do for seniors and get them to know the things that are going to help them age well. So he also talked about everybody having an aging plan, which meant learning the things that you need to know to get ahead of the curve. And so just like Jennifer, John Harper, that Jennifer was speaking with during the mid-show break, she's going to be moderating the caregiving workshop, which is happening tomorrow, literally 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Senior Resource Center. And she has got, there's an incredible collection of important resources who are going to be joining us. We're going to have Ali Elmation from Aging Matters. Those are the folks that do the Meals on Wheels program and things like that. She's going to explain about all the work that Aging Matters does and the resources available. We're going to have Dory Hill from the Brevard Alzheimer's Foundation is going to be one of our panelists, and she's going to share about making sure caregivers get some good breaks and are getting some help when they're maybe feeling like I really need some kind of help here. This is going to be folks like the Alzheimer's Association. They're going to be coming in and sharing, some groundbreaking research. We've got all kinds of great people. Denise Bergman from Senior Care Authority is going to join us and share about senior living options. You're going to hear from Jennifer herself, who has a company called Seniors Helping Seniors, which hires seniors to help seniors in their homes. And it's just going to be a great collection, a great day. We're going to have some professional caregivers who are going to, case managers, I guess is the right word, who are going to share how you can navigate the process. But we're also going to have some family caregivers who are just going to share their own experiences. And one of the most unique things in this whole event is that people have an opportunity to, it's a panel discussion. So it's not like lecture after lecture, it's just a panel. And people in the audience are asking questions, and oftentimes they are answering questions that somebody in the audience may come up with. So we might be able to squeeze you in. It's strictly limited to 45 folks. It's 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We got to make sure we have room for you, and we got to make sure we have lunch for you, which is included, which is why you must RSVP. So you got to call 321-473-7770, and let's see if there is a spot for you tomorrow. We're going to actually do another one of these in November. So even if they can't accommodate tomorrow, we'll get you on the calendar for November. But give a call today and let's see. Now, meanwhile, Dr. Kevin Kilday, as we're having this conversation about nutrition and learning, one of the things I wanted to kind of get into with you is that I know, like, I think one of the great advantages of achieving seniordom is that you typically may have a little bit more time on your hands, because you may not be working full time, or you may be working part time, but or you may be just flat retired, whatever the case is, you may have a little bit more control over your schedule. The other thing that happens is, I say, for a lot of people, they actually do find that they have a little bit of extra money because maybe they're done paying for their kids' college, or their kids, things that kids need, and they actually have a minute they can look at themselves. And I think maybe the greatest investment you could make in yourself is how to live healthy, Dr. Kevin Kilday. And that's kind of what the whole Faith College of Natural Health is all about.
Yes, Faith College of Natural Health, was formed, to give people knowledge. I mean, I just, it just came to me that I needed to share the things that I have learned over the years. All right. So a lot of these courses at Faith College of Natural Health is courses that I have personally taken. All right. And all the other ones I have personally written for the college. So, um, and all our courses are based upon the top selling nutrition books on the open market. So in other words, you can just Google the top top 50 of all time nutrition books, and chances are I'm using a lot of them for the college. Okay, so on each course, not only do you pay for the course, but we also targeted the textbooks or course books that are readily available on the market. All the bookstores, Amazon, Book a Million, Barnes and Noble, and we made sure that number one, they were economically or affordable, and in most cases they are less than $25 for just a book, which which is very, very reasonable. I mean, I put a couple of kids through college. I got one going to college now, and she tells me that they're talking textbooks that are a couple $100 just for one course. It is crazy. All right. But that's them. It's not Faith College of Natural Health. And we also have some brand new pricing. Okay. And we just developed what we call audit pricing. Now, audit pricing is for people who are not interested in a college degree. So they're not going to get college credit for this course, but it's the same course that our college level students are taking. All right. It's the exact same course, but you just don't get any college credit for it. And we have it priced at about 70% off of our regular tuition.
Wow.
Okay. And like I said, it's it's I say college level course because we're really a college. So, but really anybody, there's no prerequisite or prior education, like in nutrition to take these courses. All of our exams are all true and false. There's a little bit of writing, not a whole lot, from 25 words to 50 words, 75 words. Um, throughout the course. It's just really just 2 times in the course. So I'm just giving you a quick rundown. But these particular audit courses, now for any, they're marked down right now, 65% off of our regular tuition, which is real simple, about $120 per course. So 65% of that brings it down to $42 a course for the whole course. All right.
Wow.
And if you're a senior, we are now offering less 10% off of that price. So now it brings it down to $38 for a college level nutrition course.
You know, Dr. Kevin, that's one of the things that I really wanted to point out is like, I've watched people, they say, well, I don't know. I don't know if I really want to go back to school. I don't know if I want to make that commitment. I don't know if I want to be that, that serious about all of it. And what I love about the way that you've got this structured is people can take courses for their own personal edification. And
Right.
so you're not having to make like some sort of a huge commitment up front. You can take the courses again, like we talked about in the first half of the show. You got a course folks can take absolutely for free so that they can kind of learn
Yeah,
how
try it and see if you like it. Right.
right, and then
Yeah.
go further. And I'll tell you what I have discovered is a lot of times people will take a course here or there, and then they'll say, "Wow, this is really fascinating. I want to dive deeper." And so one of the cool things about this is not only can you attack it, one course at a time, kind of like that, but also I think for many people they say, "Look, if I learn this, this is going to be a gift to not only myself, but this is going to be a gift to my family because I'm going to help them be able to be healthier, nutritionally smarter, all the things we're talking about." And then on top of that, potentially, if you do go through and you earn your credentials and you graduate from the college, now potentially you have a second career, a part-time passion that you can pursue of helping other people learn how to maximize their health. And Dr. Kevin, I think this is the most important part of all of it is you hit on it as you started talking about the college. You've got a daughter in college who's having to pay these huge numbers. This is why people have to go into debt so often to get
Oh
to
yeah, I
some
mean
kind of a college degree, you
you're
know?
talking like $125 per credit hour, and most courses are 3 credits. All
Right.
right.
So you're
So
talking
right
like
off the
400.
top, I mean, yes, a lot of them go for grants and and government loans, but it's a loan, you still got to pay it back.
Right.
And so just an example, $125 a credit hour. I think that's around where East Coast Florida college is right now. A state college, no less,
Mhm.
or a county college, whatever it is. But so that's $375 right off the bat just for the course. All right. And like I said before, you're talking sometimes $100, $200 for a textbook. So you're talking close to $400 to $500 just to take one course,
Incredible.
you know.
Incredible.
And for that kind of money, you can take if you're doing the audit pricing, you can take probably a dozen courses,
Yeah.
you know,
It is really
at your own pace. There's no lectures to go to. There's no classrooms to attend. Even though we will be offering some in the future, um, but so if anybody is interested in that, do you mind if I give you the email to get in touch with
Please
me
do.
personally?
Please
Yeah.
do. Please do.
If anybody's interested in this, because all the emails come to my personal email anyway, and that is Dr. Kilday, DR as in David Robert or as in Doctor, Kilday, KILD as in David, AY @gmail.com. So, just send me an email of what you may be interested in, and I'll start communicating with you and see if we can get you into the college one way or another.
Yeah, so exciting. One of the
And
things.
also some of the other things I offer. I'm sorry, Kerry, I didn't mean to interrupt
Go
you.
ahead.
There's a couple of other things that I'm starting to offer. I had somebody come to me. Well, this happened a number of times, but a family friend. Her mom was just diagnosed with early stages of dementia. Okay. So, so right away she asked me, and the doctors are just saying, well, we really don't have any effective medications to give her and all this. So she asked me, goes, well, can you recommend some supplements? I said, well, I'll do even better. It says I'll recommend some supplements, but I'll also back it up with all the clinical studies of the of the early signs of dementia and what supplements have been clinically studied and what supplements are showing to be effective. All right. And I did that for her, so now I'm going to start offering that. You're just putting together reports of recommended clinical studies, recommended supplements backed up by clinical studies, along with the dosage that's what was in the clinical study that's recommended to be effective.
Wow.
So, and that's really with any, because I have a good library when I was doing the running holistic health center of a lot of health conditions that people came to me for. Arthritis. You got rheumatoid arthritis. You got osteoarthritis. Of course, all forms of cancer, and you have, other, like I said, the dementia, Parkinson's was another one that I helped someone with. Actually, it was my own when she was still on this earth. But, my own mother-in-law, was suffering from Parkinson's, and she stayed at our house for a while. And the medications that were just horrible. They really were. I mean, she was, from the medications getting psychotic and things like that. So, with her doctor's permission, we removed those medications, and then we started using some supplements. So, my wife was adding these supplements and stuff, to her drinks and to her diet and stuff like that. And there was an obvious, marked improvement in her overall demeanor, and she wasn't so aggressive, and she wasn't so, but all the things that were going on with Parkinson's. So there was an obvious, um, improvement of her overall health.
Yeah. Oh, it's impressive.
So, and then, we just continued with that, and then they made arrangements to, unfortunately, to put her in an assisted living facility. But there are, there's clinical studies out there for all diseases, and they're showing positive, effective clinical studies of herbs and and vitamins, because there is a difference. A lot of people just say vitamins, but herbs is There's Indian herbs, they call them Ayurvedic, from India. And there's Chinese herbs. I mean, just those two herbs alone have been around for 5,000 years. I mean, just those two types of herbs. And they've been around for 5,000 years that the Chinese have been using them, and and Indians from India have been using them. And so that's, to me, that's all, and that's handed down from generation to generation, and that's even better than clinical studies. But there's also clinical studies backing all them up, also.
Yeah, it's
So,
like
and we offer
results matter.
courses. So we offer multiple courses on just herbs. I think we have about 3 or 4 courses on just the study of herbs.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that's
and
why.
there's also Native American herbs too, which are another whole field in itself.
Yeah, no doubt. Dr. Kevin, that's one of the reasons I think it's so important people take a minute and explore Faith College of Natural Health just to get a sense of everything that's there. Sign up for that first course. It's free. Dr. Mike Edwards, who's one of your professors, he gave a great talk recently at the Senior Resource Center about your memory and how to save it. There are so many things that can happen when you start to invest into this kind of material that are going to really benefit your longevity and your health and your enjoyment of life as you go along. And it just makes sense. We talk about a lot of things that we hope in the world of helping seniors, Dr. Kevin, that we are always pushing ourselves to learn a little bit more, to stay on top of whatever new developments are, new techniques, new things that would help our seniors. We're always trying to invest in ourselves so that we can really be of best service in the community. And I really think that when you take the time yourself and you join a program like the Faith College of Natural Health, whether you're just choosing it for your own personal edification and you want the knowledge and help you and maybe your family members, or you decide, hey, I'm really into this, I'd like to learn it, and maybe become a practicer, and maybe have a clinic, have a shop, whatever you want to do with it, you could do that as well. So, Dr. Kevin, while we're getting toward the end, and I need to save a minute to just kind of talk about a couple of events upcoming, I want to make sure people know how to reach you and to start that journey, whether they just want to sample that first free course, or maybe consider taking some courses on the audit level, or perhaps explore, maybe this is a career move in my retirement. I could do something that's going to benefit my own health and the people around me.
Yes, the college phone number is 321 549 0711. So that's 321 549 0711. And like I said, the emails are real simple. Just Dr. Kilday, just DRKIL, D as in David, AY, at gmail.com. It comes directly to me, and I help you out any way I can. I also have a book also. May I mention that
Sure,
also?
absolutely.
Yes, with my background of over 30 years in the mental health field, and combined with nutrition and also the addictions field, and I used to counsel a lot of people that were in recovery, and a lot of them regardless if they were early in recovery with just months, or whether they had years in recovery, it was always a struggle. All right. And of course, a lot of things weren't addressed. I mean, the mind, the body, and the spirit, the holistic approach is what the book is about. So it's called Winning at Recovery. So WAR for short. So Winning at Recovery, because we're in this country right now, we have an epidemic of drug addiction in this country, and whether they want to admit it or not, but it's all about recovery. It's recovery from from addictions, and also some some mental health things, like I address depression, and I address also anxiety in the book. And it's a small book. It's close to 100 pages, you know. And what I'm trying to say is, just email me and I will send you a free copy of that book in a PDF form.
Can't
A
beat
free
that.
copy of it.
Well, thank you, Dr. Kevin Kilday. If you need the address or any of the information we've been talking about, you can always call us at 321-473-7770. Nancy or one of our great volunteers will be happy to make sure we get you pointed in the right direction so you can access that free offer that Dr. Kevin Kilday is talking about for his book. And again, tomorrow is the AARP Caregiving Workshop, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Senior Resource Center. You can call and make sure that you could RSVP. Hopefully, we've got some seat available for you at 321-473-7770. Want to just give you a couple of heads up events too, if you got your notepad handy. Friday, we're going to be at St. John the Evangelist. That's that big church right there in Vieira. We are participating in the Hurricane Prep Rally Expo. That's something together with our friends at Senior Life Newspaper. We'll be out there. And part of that on Saturday, we're going to be over at Calvary Chapel in Melbourne, Saturday morning, 8 to 12 noon, because that is the Praise and Pistons Calvary Chapel car show. And that feeds into everything that we're talking about with our car raffle. The next week on Monday, the 20th, we want to see you out at One Senior Place. We're going to be out there in the afternoon. It's free. It's fun. 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. It's called Summer Treats and Real Fun. And so there's an ice cream social, ice cream is provided. And then there's a movie event that says you're going to spend the afternoon at the movies right there at One Senior Place. And we will be out there for that. And then it's a busy week next week because Thursday we have our wellness series and our knowledge college right at the center. And Friday we're going to be back at One Senior Place as AARP is sponsoring live music and lunch. So all this is free. The last thing that I want to make sure I tell you about, because this is an event you will have to RSVP for, and it will be sold out. It was last year. It is AARP special edition of Scam Jam. This is the program we do to keep seniors safe. It's called What AI Is. We're going to do it at Zon Beachside Friday, August the 7th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So you got to call us at 321-473-7770, and they'll walk you through the events calendar and make sure that you're signed up for the events you want to take. So, Dr. Kevin, thank you. That is the time we have for our radio show today. We'll be back here next week. Same, as I used to say, same bat time, same bat channel at 90.3 FM. We'll see you there.
Thank you very much for having me.
You've been listening to Helping Seniors of Brevard, a show for and about seniors, their family, and friends, heard every Wednesday, 12 noon to 1 o'clock, right here on 90.3 FM. I'm John Harper, president of Helping Seniors of Brevard, and we'd like to invite you to take part in one of our favorite traditions. That's the 10th annual Helping Seniors Choose Your Adventure car raffle. Well, this year, one lucky winner will choose from 7 brand new 2026 vehicles. And whether you love to drive a sporty convertible, a rugged pickup, a family SUV, or a stylish sedan, there's something for everyone coming up in October. Now, to purchase tickets, you can go online at helpingseniorscarraffle.com, or you can call 321-473-7770. Again, 321-473-7770, or online, helpingseniorscarraffle.com. Tickets are just $25 each, or $5 for 100. Thanks for supporting Helping Seniors of Brevard, and as our founder Joe Steckler always reminded us, keep it going. Seniors need us. Thanks for being with us here on this particular show of Helping Seniors of Brevard.